South Africa, a land of breathtaking beauty. From the majestic Table Mountain to the sprawling Kruger National Park, its landscapes captivate the soul. The warmth of its people, their resilience and spirit, leave an unforgettable mark on every visitor. But beneath this vibrant surface lies a hidden struggle, a darkness that threatens to consume the nation's hard-won unity. This is the story of xenophobia in South Africa. South Africa, often hailed as the Rainbow Nation, bears the scars of its past. Apartheid, a system of racial segregation and discrimination, cast a long shadow. Its legacy lingers in the form of deep-seated inequalities and social divisions. While the nation celebrates its diversity, a sinister undercurrent of fear and mistrust towards foreigners festers beneath the surface. This fear, often stoked by economic hardship and political opportunism, manifests as xenophobia, the dislike of or prejudice against people from other countries. It's a complex issue with deep roots in South Africa's history and socio-economic realities. To understand xenophobia in South Africa, we must delve into the lived experiences of its people. Xenophobia in South Africa is not a recent phenomenon. It's a complex issue with a long and tangled history, deeply intertwined with the country's colonial past and the legacy of apartheid. During apartheid, the government deliberately created and exploited divisions among different racial groups. This strategy of divide and rule sowed seeds of mistrust and animosity that continue to plague South African society today. The transition to democracy in 1994 brought hope for a more just and equal society. However, the deep-seated inequalities of the apartheid era remained. The end of apartheid also saw an influx of migrants from other African countries, seeking better opportunities and escaping conflict. This influx, coupled with high levels of unemployment and poverty, fueled resentment and competition for scarce resources among some segments of the South African population. Politicians and some media outlets often exploit these anxieties, scapegoating foreigners for the country's socio-economic problems. They portray immigrants as criminals, job stealers, and a drain on resources, further inflaming xenophobic sentiments. This dangerous rhetoric creates a climate of fear and intolerance, making life precarious for foreign nationals living in South Africa. The year 2008 marked a turning point in South Africa's post-apartheid history. A wave of xenophobic violence swept across the country, leaving a trail of death, destruction, and displacement in its wake. The violence, which began in the township of Alexandra, Johannesburg, quickly spread to other parts of Gauteng province and beyond. Over 60 people were killed, thousands were displaced, and countless businesses were looted and destroyed. The 2008 attacks shocked the nation and the world, exposing the ugly underbelly of xenophobia that had been simmering beneath the surface. The images of burning homes, terrified families fleeing for their lives, and mobs armed with machetes shocked the nation's conscience. The violence was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the deep-seated prejudices that still plagued South African society. While the immediate triggers of the violence remained complex and contested, underlying factors included high levels of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Competition for scarce resources such as housing, jobs, and basic services created a breeding ground for tension and resentment. The attacks exposed the urgent need to address the root causes of xenophobia and promote social cohesion in South Africa. Sipho, a young man from Soweto, embodies the internal conflict many South Africans face. He grew up witnessing the struggles of his community, the lack of jobs, the poverty, the desperation. He saw his own family struggle to make ends meet, and he carried the weight of their hopes and dreams on his shoulders. Sipho yearned for a better life, for a chance to escape the cycle of poverty that had trapped generations of his family. When Sipho saw foreigners running businesses and seemingly prospering, he felt a surge of resentment. The same opportunities that seemed out of reach for him and his community were readily available to outsiders. The rhetoric he heard from politicians and some community leaders resonated with his own anxieties. They blamed foreigners for taking jobs, for crime, for the lack of progress. However, deep down, Sifo also felt a sense of unease. He had friends who were foreigners, kind and hard-working people who had become part of his community. He wrestled with conflicting emotions, the anger and frustration fueled by his own struggles, and the empathy he felt for those who were also trying to build a better life. Sifo's story reflects the complex reality of xenophobia in South Africa, a toxic mix of genuine grievances, manipulation, and misplaced anger. In the face of such adversity, many have shown remarkable resilience. They have chosen to stand against the tide of hate, to build instead of destroy. These individuals and communities remind us that, even in the darkest times, the human spirit can shine brightly. Their stories are a testament to the power of unity, compassion, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Bridging the divide requires more than just words. It requires action, empathy, and a willingness to understand. By fostering dialogues and creating spaces where people can share their stories and experiences, we can begin to dismantle the barriers that separate us. Education and awareness are crucial in this journey. Through understanding and mutual respect, we can build a society that values diversity and inclusivity. So what can we do? It starts with each of us. We must challenge our own prejudices and stand up against xenophobia whenever and wherever we encounter it. Support organizations that promote integration and support for all communities. Advocate for policies that address the root causes of inequality and provide opportunities for everyone. Together, we can create a South Africa where everyone has a chance to thrive. Let's be the change we wish to see.